Hello everyone, and this is Fantasy-esque, and welcome back to Vampire Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we were overcoming grief and guilt in the clan, especially between Master Burnleaf and Blue Jay, who not too long ago lost their daughter Fire Ivy. And Burnleaf, he's been having, I think, a relatively good time. He was getting closer to Twilight Fade, leaning in on his friendship a little bit, maybe, developing more of a crush on Twilight Fade, even though he knows, he's very much aware that right now Twilight Fade is not in a state to return his affections because he's very much in love with his mate, Lightsong. And then he made the really tough decision, Burnleaf did, to send his son out on a patrol completely by himself. Thankfully, his son was smart enough to come out uninjured when he went up against a red fox, which had me freaking out because he's nervous and not exactly the best fighter. But guys, it is now New Leaf. We are at Moon 36, and we have some amazing news in the clan. So without further ado, let us go ahead and dive into it. Also, it is the final moon that the kittens are going to be itty bitty little ones. In the next moon, they're going to become fledglings, which is going to be super exciting for us as well, which means during patrols this time around, our clan leader is going to be keeping an eye on potential mentors for the youngsters. Okay, so we still have in the leader's den our alliance with Gosma clan, so that means we are giving them vampiric blood, but also the bones of our deceased vampires for them to use in their elixirs for temporary vampiric powers. Then we have hostilities with Wind clan and Day clan. So not all the vampire hunters get privileges when they end wars with us. Okay, let's dive to events and have a read. Vampire Clan doesn't have enough prey for the next moon, which means we are going to be focusing on hunting. And then Lightsong announced that she's expecting kits. She doesn't believe she can efficiently perform her duties while expecting kits and decides to move into the nursery. Okay, wonderful. I am actually really happy that the gap between the last litter and this next one isn't that huge, but also by the time those kits are born, Pine Kit, Ibis Kit, and Fawn Kit are going to be fledglings, so it's not like we're going to have a bazillion kittens either. It's kind of the perfect timing, which makes me really, really happy. Okay, let's check up on the Medicine Cat Den. Hazel Pelt gathered rosemary and moss this moon. I'm mixing things up. Let's go through relationships. Blue Jay talks with Quiet Flight about some clan drama. I don't know if we have drama per se, but maybe they're talking about the clan news, which is the new pregnancy, of course. We know Quiet Flight took ages. Lightsong, I think I was saying before that her process of falling in love with Twilight Fade for both of them has been very, very speedy. And I suppose even when it comes to kittens, it's speedy as well. They don't really feel the need to wait and make their particular romance lost like Quiet Flight did. So maybe Quiet Flight, who, yes, has started viewing Lightsong differently, but still views her as a bit of an enemy. Maybe Quiet Flight is talking to Blue Jay about that. And we know that Blue Jay and Quiet Flight, they have been spending more time together getting along. Fawn Kit sends a clanmate to help Blue Jay with something she's struggling with. Grandmaster Shivering Star meows hello to Master Burnleaf, but he still looks pretty glum. I wonder if Burnleaf, yes, he has overcome the deepest wells of his grief and is trying his best to make do, but, losing your favorite child would definitely linger with you for a long time afterwards, even if you look okay. Owlfeather has to help Master Burnleaf stop choking on a huge bone. See, look, he wasn't even paying attention and he started choking on his food. Twilight Fade thinks the prey Fawn Kit is biting into on the other side of camp looks delicious. Twilight Fade is motivated by Owlfeather's big smile. After something happens, Grandmaster Shivering Star and Master Burnleaf find comfort in one another's company. It is good that the cats in power are getting along well. Grandmaster Shivering Star got a bunch of cats up for morning stretches and they didn't like it. Grandmaster Shivering Star dispels a bad rumor about Hazel Pelt. Shivering Star's being very attentive to all of the cats in his inner circle and protecting their reputations. I'm kind of appreciating it. Grandmaster Shivering Star makes a crude remark about the clan to Light Song. Quiet Flight goes for a nice long walk with Blue Jay. Again, these two are spending a lot of time together. Quiet Flight notices that Fawn Kit is always one of the first to volunteer for a difficult task, which is really, really sweet considering that he is not as fearless as his siblings. In fact, he's the one who is constantly having nightmares about the vampire hunters. Hazelpelt thought Owlfeather was very polite today. Hazelpelt saw Blue Jay being rude. Yeah, we know they don't get along. He has, been enemies with Blue Jay for a few moons now because he considers her a very rude patient. Owlfeather notices that Blue Jay doesn't want to help out. Sunnytail is proud to be in the same clan as Blue Jay. So that's kind of interesting. Owlfeather, who is her mother's favorite and closest to her mother, she's actually noticing that her mother, it could even be tied to the whole Hazelport thing, that she's a little bit rude, doesn't like helping out. Whereas Sunnytail is kind of proud of his mother. Grandmaster Shivering Star helps Pine Kit hide from a clanmate. Ibis Kit has had a lot of good dreams about Twilight Fade lately. Fawn Kit and Blue Jay keep talking over each other on accident. And Fawn Kit, Quiet Flight, and Hazelpelt had a nice talk while eating. Going back to Fawn Kit and Blue Jay, this interaction is fascinating to me because someone just observed Fawn Kit always helping out and, stepping up, and then someone observed Blue Jay not wanting to help out ever. So it's interesting that, obviously they keep talking over one another and maybe they are unable to communicate properly because the stuff they're doing within the clan is a bit different, or the activities are clashing a bit. So okay, that is all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let us continue with the cat list, starting off with loyalties. We actually haven't had any changes over here, so everything is still the same, but I did notice a few things in relationships. The first thing was actually with Quiet Flight. So Quiet Flight, guys, has had a bit of a relationship gain with Blue Jay, or romance gain with Blue Jay. And I don't know, I feel like, she and Hazelpelt have obviously been very happy with one another, but I kind of get the feeling that after having their kittens, not necessarily they've grown apart, but they have been taken up by other things in the clan. And they used to have, that ritual, that regular time with one another down in the ruins, listening to whispers, which used to reinforce their relationship. And this is probably why Quiet Flight wanted to prolong that as much as possible, because she knew that, obviously things would change a little bit once they had their family. And Hazelpelt, he seems more taken up with the kittens now, and I think a bit more taken up with his duties as Nightstalker. And Quiet Flight is kind of the same. She's also been more taken up with her kittens than her mate. And I think that's opening up time for her to spend now with Blue Jay. And even if it's as friends initially, maybe as she spends time with Blue Jay, some of the feelings that she had before for Blue Jay, it's kind of sneaking in without her really realizing it, but she's enjoying the company of Blue Jay. So I hope this doesn't threaten what she has with Hazelpelt, because I really liked them together as a couple. But, with growth comes change. Not all the time the kind of change that we like, but yeah, I think Quiet Flight, that's what it is over here. It's feelings that she's not going around looking for necessarily, not that she's pursuing Blue Jay, but I think as she's spending time with her, some of what she felt in her youth is coming back. And the other thing I noticed was with Owlfeather, and this was very interesting. Owlfeather, guys, hates Shivering Star and is now enemies with Grandmaster Shivering Star. And yet, she still believes in him as a leader, or she's still loyal to him. So let's try and break this down a little bit. I feel like Owlfeather, and I looked through their histories, they've been having largely positive interactions. Nothing hateful that stood out, but I am thinking that Owlfeather is having a completely different response to her sister's death than Sunnytail did. I think Owlfeather is looking at her parents, looking at the guilt they feel over not being able to chase away the vampire hunters, of not being able to protect their daughter, and how it's eating them up on the inside, even if they look okay on the outside. And I think Alfela is getting very mad. She's getting mad because it feels as though she's the only one who realizes that Shivering Star is responsible for what happened, because he's the one who declared war on the vampire hunters this time around. He's the one that pulled the clan into a war, and he's the one who was launching all the surprise attacks and encouraging the vampires to do so. So she doesn't understand why her brother and even her parents are kind of blinded by their sister's death and are blaming their own selves. It feels as though there's an illusion cast over them, and they are not able to see that the cat in power is the one who is responsible for these decisions, these major decisions that are happening and affecting their lives in such a serious way. And yet, because Alfeather is an insecure cat, I don't think she's brave enough to speak out against Shivering Star. And so even though she hates him, I imagine maybe secretly on the inside, because she kind of sees him for what he is, she is still choosing to be loyal to Shivering Star, because that's what everyone else expects of her in a way. I don't actually know. Hold on a second. I know her father's not loyal to Shivering Star, but her mother is, and so is her brother. And I don't think Alfeather is brave enough to kind of step out into the limelight like Burnleaf and, speak out against Shivering Star and his choices. Okay, so that, I think, is all I noticed with the relationships. We obviously don't have any whispers we're working with, so let's just go ahead and see what everyone's doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star is wondering if kitty pet life is really so bad. Master Burnleaf is looking forward to finding more prey as the snow melts. Hazelpelt is complaining about an itch he can't quite reach. Twilight Fade saw a kitty pet with no fur at all. Blue Jay is purring sweetly. Quiet Flight is looking forward to finding more prey as the snow melts, so Quiet Flight is hanging around with Burnleaf. Okay, Quiet Flight and Burnleaf are hanging out with each other, which I actually don't think they have a problem. It's Burnleaf that has a problem with Lightsong, and Shivering Star that has a problem with Quiet Flight. Lightsong is stretching out. Alfeather had a nice chat with a kitty pet. Sunnytail wishes he could take the day off. Pine Kid wonders what Sunnytail is up to. Ibis Kit can't find Blue Jay anywhere. Fawn Kit wishes the other cats would stop babying him. And that is all we have for the cat list, so let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with patrols. Okay, let's resume with our patrols. We currently have 24 prey and we need 26, which means we are focusing on hunting this time around. And also, Shivering Star is going to be keeping an eye on who stands out during these patrols to see, who might make good potential mentors for the youngsters who are going to become fledglings in the next episode. So Hazelpelt, our Nightstalker, let's send him out, see what he gets up to. Hazelpelt is on a mission to find lungwort now that New Leaf is here. As the only reliable cure for yellow cough, he's determined that Vampire Clan replenish their stocks of it. Proceed. Hazelpelt searches until his paw pads are sore and his muscles exhausted, but can't find lungwort anywhere. He returns to camp disappointed, but determined to try again. It's simply too important to not keep a good supply of. So he unfortunately got sore. Hopefully it's not bad enough that he's going to have to sit out on patrols next time around, and it seems as though we're only going to have a patrol of 6. So let's see if they find anything. Hopefully they do, because even though the season has changed into something that is, a bit more abundant, I definitely don't want the new kittens to be arriving in a couple moons time feeling hungry and in a state of chaos. Like, no, we don't want that. We have been through such things in the past. We do not want that. But okay, let's send these guys out. The patrol comes across a large rat. Proceed. The rat rears up and hisses at Blue Jay, but while it's distracted, Grandmaster Shivering Star takes it out with a quick strike. A medium amount of prey is brought to camp. Okay, nice. So Blue Jay has stood out this time around. In a way, she's also coming out of her grief. I think last episode is probably a bit more focused on Burnleaf and the choices he made during patrols and such. and you know, the time he was spending with Twilight Fade. But this time around, I think the attention is a little bit more on Blue Jay, which makes me happy that she's also making strides on her own. And hopefully the clan leader maybe recognizes that perhaps another way to get Blue Jay to recover emotionally might be to invest some of her energy into training yet another fledgling. But has she had a fledgling in the past? I don't actually think she's trained a fledgling in the past. Might have to check. But we brought back a medium amount of prey. And now we have 71. Look at that. Look at that. We have food. Food galore. She has actually never trained a fledgling. So this might be a good chance for her to experience that, but also to help recover emotionally from the loss of her daughter. Because that is, you know, a privilege that Burnleaf has had. Burnleaf was able to train Owlfeather. So, okay guys, well, that is what we have for today. I hope you all enjoyed. But with that said and done, I'm going to leave off. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.